Today I'm going to be finding out exactly what makes the TV game station tick. So stay tuned and let's find out. Hey guys, just a quick reminder before we get to today's video. Remember to hit the like button down below if you like this video, and remember to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And if you want to say something about this video or you want to ask a question, don't hesitate to leave a comment down below as well. Okay, and now let's get to today's video. So guys, if you haven't yet watched the first two parts of this series, I would highly recommend you first go and check that out. I will leave a link up here to the first two parts. In the first part I did an unboxing of the gaming console, and in the second part I tested it out and checked out some of the games and how the gaming on it is. So now in part 3 I'm going to be doing a teardown of it, and you're gonna see exactly how it works inside. Okay, now let's get right to it. So first of all, I'm gonna put the console itself aside, and then the controller also, gonna tear that down as well. And I'm first going to actually check out what exactly is inside of the game cartridge itself. So as you can see there, this is the basic game cartridge. It looks like an old school cartridge, basic one just. So let's find out what's inside of this thing. So first of all, it just has two screws here on the back that you have to remove. So I'm just going to take those two out. So I actually do want to see what exactly is inside of this cartridge, because interestingly I have had situations before with some of these Chinese gaming consoles where there is literally nothing inside of the cartridge, and it's literally just like a switch. Basically it just tells the console to switch over to games that's already programmed right into it. So yeah, I don't really know why they do that, probably to make it look like you get more games, because usually that's like they already have pre-installed games on the console and then that's extra games on the cartridge, so it sounds like you're getting more games, but actually it's just games that's already on the console. Very often it's just a repeat of the same games even. But now, enough blathering, let's see what's inside of this cartridge. And now, see, how does this open up? Okay, just like that. Okay, it does seem like there's actually kind of something in here. Let's see. And okay, there's the cartridge itself. Okay, yeah, there's quite a lot on this PCB. Let's see exactly what we have here. So first of all, we have some resistors and some transistors here and some basic stuff like that. Then we have a flash memory here. Looks like an Intel unit actually. Pretty big physically. Kind of an old school type as well. Then we have one of these blob IC kind of chips, the capacitor, some crystals, another bigger transistor, diodes, capacitors more, and yeah, a couple of other small components. So actually, if I had to guess myself right now, before I even tear down the console itself, I would actually say that most of the brains of this console is probably right here inside of this cartridge, because there's quite a lot of stuff on here. I haven't seen this much stuff on a cartridge before. So yeah, that's quite interesting. It's the first time I've seen that, so yeah. But that's basically all there is to see on this thing. As you can see, really not much else. You can check it out there. And yeah, that's basically it for the cartridge. So now I'm just gonna put that all aside. I will reassemble that later. Just gonna put the cartridge with its screws aside. And next, what I'm gonna take apart is the console itself, I think, because now I actually want to see exactly what's inside of this thing, because I want to see if there's actually anything really inside of here, and if it's just basically a power shop, like, yeah, supplying power and AV connections and stuff. But okay, let's find out. So first of all, let's see. I believe it's got 4 screws here on the back, just these 4 screws, and then it's got this battery compartment. I actually want to open that up first so we can see if perhaps there's another screw in there or something. So just gonna remove this screw right here. Yeah, there we go. I thought that was a retention screw, but actually not. And there we go. So it takes 4 AAA batteries here to power it. If you want an alternative way to power it, then the power brick that comes with it. Okay, now let's remove these other 4 screws. See if there's anything interesting inside. Okay, now I've removed all 4 screws. Let's find out what's inside. Let's find out how it comes apart first. So, okay, just clips apart here at the top, away from this blue part. Oh, that cover. Oh, okay, yes, there we go. Okay, so the top basically, okay, just clips off the bottom. Let's put that all aside. Just gonna put it this side actually. So yes, basically just as I expected. There isn't much actually inside of the console part of it itself. It's mainly, most of the parts are inside of the cartridge actually. That's quite interesting. So now let's see. Let's just make sure if there's anything else interesting on this. So yeah, this is basically just a PCB for the IR sensor. I believe this detects these LEDs that I have on the remote, these 3. I'm assuming it uses them to detect where the controller is or something like that. And then it just has these blue LEDs on there as well. I think these are mainly for show. They don't have any function really. So yeah. Okay, and then this part where the cartridge goes in. Let's check out what's on here. Though I don't believe there's much. Okay, let's see. Okay. Yeah, and there once again, it's just connecting it to the other PCBs we've got here. I don't even really need to remove this one to know. This one is just for the AV and the power. But let's quickly remove it and see, just to be sure. Okay, there's the 2 screws. Let's see quickly. And there we go. Yeah, as you can see, just basically the power is connected to these pins, and then where is it? Yeah, there and there, and then the AV is just those two, and then it's got these 2 that's connected here for the batteries. That goes in here as an alternative power source, just a basic bridge from here. So yeah, fairly basic, nothing fancy really. It's very basic, but it is a very cheap console as well, so you can't be expecting too much in here. So yeah, that's basically all that's inside of the console itself. So I'm just gonna take its screws. They're all basically the same. Not much different there. Just the bigger ones for the cartridge slot, which is actually good. It gives it better support. Okay, I'm just gonna put this aside now as well. Okay, now one of the interesting things that I actually do want to see is what exactly is inside of this controller. So first of all, let's just remove the batteries, because the battery is still in here from testing it out in part 2. Okay, and there we go. Something that I have to mention that I didn't mention in part 2 is these batteries, as you can see here, they are actually too small. How can I say, it's kind of like the battery holder is too big. It's somewhere between a AA and a AAA. I don't know why it's such an odd size. It's like they made it the length of a AAA almost, of a AA and the width of a AAA. Don't know exactly why that is like that. So yeah, okay, let's see. Oh, this thing has got 5 screws here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, that's quite a lot. But let's start removing them. So let me remove them and then get back to it. Okay, so there is all 5 of the screws. Let's see what's inside. I'm gonna put them aside. Okay, I don't know exactly how this opens up. Let's see. Okay, it looks like the top comes off of the bottom, and then the PCB and everything is in the bottom. Okay, so the buttons are all just loose inside, so they're just falling out. And then also the little wrist strap for tying it to your wrist. Okay, it's got this little thing for distributing the light. This is kind of like a knockoff of the LEDs that the Wii has. It's only got 1 LED instead of having 4 like the Wii that indicates which controller it is. So yeah, that's interesting. Okay, all of the buttons are just basic loose plastic buttons. Put them all aside. Also this is one of the 2 buttons on the top. That's the start button right there. It's just a normal dome switch, as you can see there. Nothing fancy. Just a rubber dome switch. Exactly what I would have been expecting from it. And then at the top it has these little arrows divided up into 2 parts. I think they go something like that. What? Yeah, like that. That's the buttons at the top. Okay, so yeah, this thing just has this little selection button still stuck in it, and then these little clips for the attachments. Oh, and there goes the one. So don't push those while it's apart. So it's just a basic clip with a spring on it. So put that back later as well. Then it's got this, just some more rubber dome switches. And then at the top, the same basic idea. This one seems to be glued to the, or something. Oh, it actually has little rubber clips that goes right through the PC board. I wonder why the other buttons didn't have something like that. Okay, there we go. So here you can see, it has these little rubbers that go through the PC board of the controller. That's quite interesting. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. So basically, got another one of those blob IC kind of chips on here. That's gonna be where all of the brains is for the whole controller. some resistors, transistors and capacitors and stuff like that. Really not much actually, to tell you the truth. If I have to tell you the truth about these. Yeah, even these LEDs. I expected them to perhaps be for some kind of sensing, just that it might actually use it for that, but they seem to be pretty much just for show. But it might still use it in some way. Not sure actually. And then here, what is this we have here? Yeah, so this is basically like an accelerometer. It would be using this to sense the movement of the controller, you see? Yeah, this is what it's using to right here. It's like it's an accelerometer basically that it's using to sense how you are moving the controller. So let me just see quickly here, make sure about this whole thing. Yeah, you see it's connected to this little switch, and this switch is the one that switches between the controller being for the sports that uses the movement of the controller and the normal games that you use only the buttons. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is just an accelerometer basically, or something like that it uses to detect the movement of the controller. So yeah, that's quite interesting. I don't know exactly how its wireless works. To tell you the truth, I can't even really see the wireless antennas. So yeah, would be I'm not sure exactly what kind of wireless it uses, but I can tell you it's not very good in any ways. It's got a heck of a lot of latency, as you would have seen in part 2 if you watched that. If you haven't yet watched that, go and check it out. Okay, now that's basically it then for this. So now I'm just gonna reassemble it and then get back to you. And there we go, all back together just like brand new. So what did I think of this thing? It was quite interesting what's inside of this thing exactly. It wasn't actually exactly what I expected. I did expect it to be pretty basic and cheap Chinese parts, which is for the most part exactly what I found, except for the stuff I found inside of this cartridge. I did actually find a lot more in here than I expected. I wasn't expecting to find basically the entire console inside of this thing, so that was quite interesting to me. Finding that they put basically everything right inside of here, and this is just to connect it to everything. This is basically just like an I/O hub in the end basically. It just gives it power and a way to output to the TV. And of course to connect to the controllers. Though I'm actually not exactly sure exactly how this controller works still, so it might actually not even really need this to connect to the controller. It might connect straight to the cartridge. So yeah, that all is quite interesting. I think it's pretty good for the money, but still it's just cheap Chinese parts, and I don't exactly expect it to break just overnight, but all of the issues that I mentioned in part 2 still apply to it as of now, so you'll have to consider that. But I hope you guys found this video interesting, and if you did, please do remember to subscribe down below and give it a like, and if you have anything to ask or to say, don't hesitate to leave a comment down below. That will be all for today then, and I'll see you guys next time.